lives are loud. Even when we think we're clearing our minds, we're often filling them with something else. Being awake to our lives feels almost unnatural. Disconnecting from technology so we can be present to where we are and who we're with isn't easy. Sometimes there are situations or maybe emotions that we prefer to escape or avoid. While I am all for using technology in healthy ways, I'm personally aware of my propensity to scroll in an attempt to distract or numb myself. And then I'll tell my friends how I just can't find the space to think. Maybe you're like that too. I often wonder what I'm missing out on, what we are collectively missing out on when we default to zoning out on our phones. What delightful interactions pass us by in the waiting room because we're too engrossed in a Twitter thread? What glimpse of humanity do we miss because we're checking emails while we're waiting in line at the grocery store? Morgan Harper Nichols is an artist and a poet, and she puts it like this: after decades of an ever-increasing, ever-loudening pulse of mass communication, we have all been dealt the task of trying to navigate a global, growing machine that none of us ever asked for. Ugh. When my 4 kids were very young, my husband went out of town on a work trip. I was frazzled from parenting 2 toddlers, a preschooler, and a young elementary schooler, all by myself. I didn't have any energy to make dinner, so I did what we do, and I ordered a pizza. I herded all the kids into the minivan, which was exhausting in and of itself, and I finally made it to the pizzeria. I unbuckled them, and I had a toddler on each hip, and I stood in line while my other children were bouncing around the pizzeria like a pinball machine. When it was finally time to check out, I grabbed my diaper bag from my wallet, and it wasn't there. The thought of getting everyone back into the vehicle and doing this all over again felt like too high of a hill to climb. But the woman standing in line behind me was paying attention, not scrolling on her phone, and she generously offered to cover our bill. She noticed me. She offered ordinary grace. Jesus paid attention to people, often people who were unseen. When a woman in a large crowd touched the hem of his clothes, Jesus knew. He was awake to the place he was in and to the people around them, along with their needs. He was paying attention. So much ink has been spilled over our kids and their generation and the implications of so much technology at their fingertips. Navigating online spaces is complicated and overwhelming, to be sure. But I wonder how much starts with us as parents. We have to contend with our own habits and how our unhealthy patterns with technology are forming us and forming our souls. The hard question is, how can we hope to form the souls of our families when we're drinking from a fire hose of information and entertainment and connectivity 24/7? Andy Crouch is the author of a book called The Tech-Wise Family, and he says, we are made to live and learn in a physical world, and no human beings are more exuberantly and fundamentally rooted in the body than children. As children, our bodies are full of energy and primed for physical learning. We are designed to explore our world and learn through our senses. The youngest among us have so much to teach us about paying attention. My 6-year-old constantly stops on a walk. He'll marvel at the shell of a fallen walnut or be like, Mommy, look at that wing of the butterfly. With God's help, we can set our beeping and our buzzing distractions aside, becoming more like children as we awaken to the senses, to the glory that is unfurling all around us. When we partake in the holy work of noticing, we become aware of where we might extend ordinary grace and where we're receiving again and again the grace that God lavishly pours into the nooks and crannies of our seemingly ordinary lives. We can pay attention to our inner worlds and what's going on all around us. When we enter into this act of sacred noticing, we're given the ability to see not just the beauty springing up around us, but also the divine gift of seeing and serving Jesus in those often unseen